We've had record-breaking temperatures in 2016, so what effect is this having on the Earth's sea ice? The frozen ocean water around the polar ice caps crucial for our planet because it essentially acts as the Earth's air conditioner. Over the past 3 decades, scientists say Arctic sea ice has dramatically declined, making what were once extraordinarily low measurements the new normal. And joining us now with the latest images of the Arctic is NASA Cyrosphere Program Manager, Dr. Tom Wagner. Welcome, Tom. So nice to have you with us. Let's start with those images of the Arctic. Can you walk us through what we're looking at here?
Yeah, it's staggering. What we're really seeing is the Arctic changing in real time. And what I like to tell people is the planet isn't just changing, it's changed. And this year, what we're seeing again is that the Arctic sea ice is thinning and it's shrinking back almost to a new record in extent.
And what is sea ice exactly? And tell us why it is so important to our planet.
So the top of the planet is covered by ocean, the Arctic Ocean, and there is generally ice on top of it. And every winter that ice forms and extends out past Greenland and Alaska, and every summer it melts back. And you can think of it like a mirrored hat on the top of the planet. And what's happening is we're taking that mirrored hat off, and now the sunlight is getting more absorbed by the ocean than lands in the Arctic, and it's causing the area to warm up.
So the ice also acts as a reflector of the sunlight. It deflects some of the heat.
Right, and you can almost think of, like fresh snow on an icy surface reflects almost 100% of sunlight back into space. But what's been happening is that ice is actually getting melt ponds on the surface, which are also darker, and they're absorbing more sunlight.
Can you give us an example of some numbers? I mean, how much has the sea ice decreased through the years?
If you go back to the 80s, we've lost roughly 2/3 of the sea ice that used to be there.
Wow.
And that's really important because, again, you can think of it as a cap over the ocean. As we've taken that cap off, now winds are causing the oceans to stir up more. You're causing heat to come out of the ocean to be blown on the land to thaw the permafrost. And we're even opening up the Arctic so much that ships can drive across it now.
Right. Now, as you said, it does expand in the winter and decrease in summer naturally, correct?
Correct.
So, and that is what is causing some of the record temperatures, the fact that it is decreasing more than usual. Is that related?
Sure. What's happening is this, the planet's warming up as we put more CO2 into the atmosphere, and we're hitting record high temperatures overall. The Arctic, though, is special because it's dominated by ice. When you melt that ice, you actually sort of increase the amount of change that's happening in the Arctic. Because like we said, you absorb more sunlight and things. But something to understand, too, is that the ice is one of the things that really defines the Arctic. And so as we lose that ice, we change what kind of plants, animals, and other things can live there. The ecosystems are shifting so rapidly that my biologist colleagues don't even kind of know where to start in terms of having a baseline to compare things to.
That's so scary. So are you seeing a corresponding rise in sea levels? Are you seeing this on U.S. coastlines?
Yeah, so in addition to ice in the ocean, we also have ice on the land in Greenland and glaciers in Alaska and Canada. And they're losing so much ice right now that they're raising sea levels globally by about 1.5 millimeters a year just from the loss of that ice alone.
And are we seeing that in the U.S. as well?
Oh, sure. Cities like Miami are already experiencing flooding. Parts of New York are experiencing flooding. This is going on right now.
Oh my
and it's
gosh.
going to continue to go on.
Time to sell your beachfront property. But let me just ask you, is there ever a time that you could foresee where all the Arctic ice would melt, and would our planet be able to survive that?
So we talk about the Arctic being ice-free. The Arctic will probably always have some ice on the ocean, right? Because it's still so cold there in the wintertime. But effectively, the Arctic would be ice-free, and that would really change what kinds of things live there, and it would change the Earth's system. If you think of the Earth's climate system like a 1970s stereos with knobs all over the place that affect the music, we're turning one of the big knobs in Arctic sea ice. Now, we will also probably lose things like the Alaskan and the Canadian glaciers. That would take hundreds of years. But here's the point for us, right? Small rises in sea level have big impacts for us. And I think what everybody has to understand is this, is that sea level is rising right now, and we need to start dealing with that in addition to dealing with the longer term impacts of climate change and doing things like reducing the CO2 we put in the atmosphere.
Dr. Tom Wagner of NASA, thank you so much for that. Those are both beautiful and scary pictures to look at. Thank you so much.